When you're just starting out with your own small craft business, and if you're anything like me, chances are you don't have a heap of cash to throw at packaging, inventory, and all that sort of stuff. Now, a lot of those packaging companies want minimum order quantities, and you're not even sure if you're going to sell that many items. You see some boxes at your local dollar store, but they're just not quite the right size. How nice would it be if you could design and make your own cardboard boxes for your own small items as you needed them? Now, I'm in that headspace right now, so I thought, how hard can it be? And with a little bit of patience and the usual amount of trial and error, it turns out it's not really that hard. So I want to take you through the process of how I designed this box and how you can do it too. G'day and welcome to Mr. Craftsmith. I'm Darren, and I can't wait to jump in and show you the process I used to create this Flatpack box on my Auteur Laser Master 3 diode laser. Now I'm going to be designing the box in Adobe Illustrator because I'm pretty familiar with how it works, and then I'm going to be jumping into Lightburn to set the file up so it's ready for cutting. Now if you don't have those programs, that's okay. The same principles should apply across most of the graphic design programs out there. The cool thing about making your own boxes is that firstly it's pretty cheap. I mean, it's pretty easy to get hold of corrugated cardboard and recycle them for these types of boxes. And once you understand the concept of how to design them, you can get pretty creative with different styles and shapes and all that sort of stuff. Now it's also a bonus for your marketing as it adds another layer to your handcrafted products. Now if you like the box and would like to get the design, make sure you hang around, as towards the end of the video I'll let you know how you can get a copy of this exact design in a Lightburn project file. Okay. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump in and show you how to design this thing.
So, as per the intro, we're going to go through the process of creating our very own custom designed cardboard box. And this is the finished product that we're going to get to. Now, it may look pretty complex, and it probably took a little bit of time for me to figure it out. But ultimately, it's not really that difficult if we understand the process. And the good thing is you can do a prototype and just make some adjustments as you go, which is what I've done here. But we're going to recreate this and just see how we go. So we're going to jump into Illustrator in this example. This is Illustrator. Any of those vector type programs, I guess, or Photoshop would even do it, I guess. But this is a program that I'm reasonably familiar with. And if you don't have access to Illustrator, at least you can understand the concepts of what we're actually trying to achieve, which you may be able to apply to the software that you're using. So the first thing I'm going to do is create the base. I know that these coasters, on average, 100 by 100, whether they be the square ones or the circular ones. So I want to give that a little bit of breathing space to allow for the cardboard to fold and any additional support packaging like bubble wrap or something like that we might be including in that one. 110 might be a bit of a squeeze, but we'll run with that anyway. Okay, so I've got my base. Now I need to duplicate that one because we're going to need a lid as well. So in this case, I'm just going to hold down my Alt and click and drag, and that just duplicates the box. This is not an Illustrator tutorial. This is purely about designing a box from scratch. So just keep that in mind. I'm not going to run through every action what I'm actually doing. I'm just going to give you a breakdown of the process of how to actually make the design. Okay, so we've got our lid and we've got our base. So we need to create the sides now. And if I just click, I'm going to make these. So I know the height of them, or the width of them, is going to be 110, which will be the width here. And for the height, I'm going to make those 40 millimeters. I've already tested the height of what 4 coasters are, and it's roughly, I know 40 will cover it pretty well. So I've got one of those. Now the good thing with Illustrator is it does snap really nicely. So I can just snap that in place like that one. And I'm going to duplicate this one, and I'm going to have one out there. And I could just duplicate these again, but I'll just recreate another one for the sides here. So the width will be 40 millimeters this time, and the height will be 110. And we're just going to snap that into place and duplicate that one for the other side. Okay, so that's, if we look at that, we've got all the sides of our box. Now, to make this a flat pack design that we can store as a flat pack, we need to put some of these additional tabs and things like that, and these foldovers, which will hold everything into place. So let's jump in and do that one. So we're going to need another one of these because this is essentially going to fold over. So I'm just going to duplicate that one. I'll just bring that out here for the moment. And we're going to do the same over here. We're going to duplicate that one. To allow this to completely fold over, I want to add another section in here to allow for that fold. So if we look at that one, it's going to be 110, and I'm just going to make that 5 millimeters. We're just going to drag that one here, and that snaps in. I'm going to duplicate that one over the other side as well. That's snapped in. That'll snap. This one here, that snaps in as well. So we've got the sides that are actually going to fold over. So we're just going to pop that one on there, and that aligns there. So we've got the fold over sections. We need to create some tabs on the outsides of these, and we need to create the other the folding sections in here, which will tuck under the side folds. So I'm going to create those ones now. So these ones, I can just click and drag, and I'm going to make them that size. And if we look at that, so that's kind of just filling in the squares there. If we look at that one now, so I'm just going to duplicate that again for the other side. Get that over there. And I'm going to duplicate them for the top. So for create the angles, I'm just going to create a triangle. And if we look up here, I can see my dimensions as 26.458. So I need to make that one 40 mil. Rotate that around. And by holding down my shift, I can get that how I want there. So if I look at that one, I can snap that one into place. And I'm just looking at this section here and seeing if that's too much of an angle, which I think it is. So I'm going to make this one, let's make it 10 mil. That'll be enough. That'll just give us a bit of clearance to clear that fold. So if I drag that one over there, so that's now intersecting on that one, I can do the same on this one down the bottom here. So that's intersecting there. So in order to create that shape now, I need to cut this little corner bit off. So in Illustrator, I can do that by just selecting those two shapes, going to the shape builder. And then if I hold down my Alt, that will get rid of that one. And then you can see the little plus on there. I can just drag over those two shapes, and that brings it together. So that gives me that one. So I'm just going to zip through and do these others. I'll probably fast forward this bit for you. Bit boring otherwise. Okay, so we've got those ones. And the other thing that we need to do here is to create a little bit of space here for the fold so that this actually folds in. If I didn't take out some of this material, it's just going to be all bunched up. So what I'm going to do there is follow the same sort of process. I'm just going to the rectangle, and it's going to be 40 millimeters wide, and we're going to go 5 millimeters in this instance. Do I need that much? I actually probably don't. So let's just go 3 millimeters. That'll do. And I'm just going to drag that one into this corner here. So that's now intersecting that one. And essentially, I'm going to cut that bit out. So let's just duplicate this one and get these corners all sorted out. Okay, and we're just going to follow the exact same process like we did before in selecting these two shapes. And I'm going to the shape builder and I'm just going to hold down the Alt and that will give me the minus sign and that will take that one away. So same for each corner. Okay, so we're starting to take shape there now. Let's just zoom out and have a look at this one. I can hit Command 0 on my keyboard and that's giving us a good look there. So these are going to fold in. If you try and imagine this in a 3D space, they'll fold in, and then these ones will fold over the top of those just to hold everything in. So we've got that going well there. So the next thing we need to do is put some tabs on here and some holes in here that are going to give us, if we have a look at the original over here, we've got to put these holes in. So these will be a cut layer, and these tabs, once they fold over, will snugly fit into those. So let's do that one. So these tabs, we're going to make those. So these need to be the width so we'll just make them 4 millimeters and we're going to make them 20 millimeters high. Now I've gone 4 millimeters so as to allow for thinner material. The cardboard that I'm using for this example is around about 4.5 to 5 millimeters. So this design should really accommodate a couple of different thicknesses. So I'm just trying to make it a little bit more generic. So that looks about the right size. So I'm going to do 2 of those on either side. And then don't worry too much about the alignment at this stage. We'll get that one sorted out in a minute. You can see there that that's a 5 millimeter gap. I don't need that 5 millimeters, but I want it fairly close to that fold line, because remember this has got to fold up here and then this tab follows. So we do need a little bit of space so that they actually fit in there. The first prototype I made, I put it on the line, like down the middle of the line, and it was actually it was just too close for me to actually tuck the tabs in. I'm just going to duplicate these and drag them out to the edge here. And obviously it's important that they line up with those tabs. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these a little bit wider. So you can see the width of those 5.6. See, let's make that 6 millimeters. And that should give us a little bit more real estate to grip into those holes. So again, I'm just going to duplicate those, drag them over the other side. Now, the other thing that we need to do is to put a folding flap on the front, because imagine this is the top lid that's going to fold over everything, and then we want to be able to tuck that in. So again, I'm going to do that one at 110 millimeters wide, and we'll just make that one 30 millimeters. So if we jump onto that one, there we go. So that's going to be our fold, and same as I've done here, I'm just going to create a couple of triangles to get the edges off to make it fold nice and easily. So polygon, and we're going to go 3 sides, and the height of those is going to be 30 millimeters. And then select all 3 this time and go to our shape builder And I want those two to join. I want those two to join. And I want to get rid of these two. So we'll get rid of that one. And there we go. We've got the folding flap at the front. So that's good. Now 30 millimeters, that'll go a fair way down the box. So that'll be nice. Now, the only other thing that we've got to do here is I want to put on a little tab on the front of the box here that with a slot up here so that that tab can actually fold into that that little hole. So it's the same deal. We're just doing the same stuff. I'm going to do that one at what would we make that one? 30 millimeters. And height wise, we make it 20. Okay. Intersect that one on the middle. So you can see that it picked up the intersecting line there. And for these, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to round over the corners rather than do triangles. And in that instance, what I want to do here is select the direct selection tool. So then I can just select the corner, this one particular corner. I'm going to drag that one in. Let's make it 6 millimeters radius. And I'm going to do the same on this side. So that will just be 6 millimeters. Okie doke. Command 0. Let's zoom that out. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. And the only other thing is the slot up the top here. So it just needs to be 30 millimeters wide. Okay, so let's do another one there. 30 millimeters. And the height, it's really only the 4 millimeters to cut a section out there for that slot to go through. If we think about this, this lid is going to fold down towards us. So it needs to be sitting on this side of it so that it shows in the front. I can probably bring it a little bit closer, round about there. I think we're pretty close to being done there. Let's have a look. That all looks pretty good to me. So we'll just tidy this up a little bit and get some of these, because I don't need this line in here. So I'm just going to join those ones together and do into our shape builder. And we should just be able to do that and that, which is that one side. And we should be able to do the other side the same way. Just bring those two together. And that's all really need to do. That one needs to stay there because we need that as a fold line. So that's ready to go. Okay, let's save that file and jump into Lightburn and get this file ready to go. Okay, so we're in Lightburn here. We're just going to import that file, which is this AI file, which is Adobe Illustrator. And there we go. That's all good there. So I'm just going to duplicate this, and this will make a bit more sense once we've actually done it. So Command D or Control D on a PC. If you're on a PC, I'm doing this on a Mac. And I'm just going to pop that onto a separate layer. So that's, we can see now that we've got two of the same. If I turn that one, show that one, we've got the black layer and the red layer, which are exactly the same. The reason I'm doing that is I want to set up these tabs here, these inner tabs on their own layer. So if I select those two there and those two, and we're going to select that one as well. They're all cutouts on their own layer, so I'm just going to pop them on a green layer. So that's one cutout. The other one that we can do is for this one here, we're just going to grab the outline. So I want to create an outline on this one. So we're just seeing the red layer at the moment, and I'm going to select all of that red layer, and I'm going to weld that together. So I've gone through there and created an outline for that. So let's have a look at these. So we need to create the cut lines for these now. So there's no, I haven't found an easy way of doing this other than just to set them up. But so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to essentially trace over the ones that I need to put as fold lines. So these types of lines there. Okay, so I'm just going to grab the pencil and we're popping these on an orange layer just so as we can do those. And when I get the circle with the X through it, that's the intersection point. So I know that I'm on that intersection point. I can just click once, drag down to there and click again. And to get rid of that line, I'm just going to right click with my mouse. So I'm just going to do the same there, click and drag. So that's a fold line. This is going to be a fold line here. And I'll just turn this one off for the moment. So that will be all of our folds there. We turn that on. That's a fold, fold, fold. Excellent. Okay. So we've got all of our layers ready to go. I'm not going to output this main one because we don't really sort of need to see that one. So we do have the 3 layers that we're going to do here. So we've got the orange, which is going to be the fold line. So I'm going to do that one first. So I'm just moving that up. So that's going to be our first layer. Our next layer is the green, which is the tab holes. And then the final layer will be the cut to cut the whole thing out. So that file is ready to go. So we'll take a look at that one and see how it comes out.
Alrighty, so I've taken that out and it drops straight out of the thing. So obviously I got my settings right. I'll pop that a little bit closer. Hopefully you can see that there, and looks very neat. There's no scorching or anything like that. So I think that's important. And I guess all we need to do now is fold it up and see what it looks like. So I'll be back in a second and we'll show you what that one looks like. Alrighty, so there's the folded up box. It looks pretty good. I got to say, like there's only a couple of things that I would want to change about it. This little front tab, it's a little bit sticky getting that one in there, so maybe I need to make the hole a little bit bigger to account for that fold. But apart from that, and maybe just angle the edges in a little bit more. So there's a couple of modifications that I'd like to make to the file before I release that to everyone out there if they want to get a copy. But definitely holds together pretty well, and I would be happy if I received that. You know, if you were paying a manufacturer to make that for you, I know you'd be paying a fair bit of money, not only for the original design, but then you've got to get all those minimum order quantities and all that sort of stuff. So this is a great way that you can make a nice little sort of presentation box yourself, just for whatever products that you might be making that you might be able to send out, and you can make them to the exact size that you need to if you understand the process of how to design it, and you know what things you need to be looking out for. Then you can do it yourself, and I think that's a great part of the marketing as well. Like you really are sort of promoting yourself as someone that can recycle materials and reuse them and come up with great little products, great little packaging products. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Okay, so what did you think? It's not too hard, eh? I mean, I think it looks pretty cool, and you know, you could dress it up any way you like. I mean, you could add your own branding, being that it's a flat pack box. It's easy enough to engrave a design on there, or yeah, maybe even cover it with printed paper. I'm not sure how that would go, but you know, it's a great starting point to set you on your way with your own custom packaging with recycled cardboard, which I think you can get pretty much anywhere. And I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, as promised, if you would like a copy of the Lightburn file for this box design, yeah, just comment below and I will make sure that I shoot you a link where you can download it. Now, if you got some benefit or you enjoyed this video, consider giving me a thumbs up, as it helps me know that I'm on track with producing content that is both relevant and helpful. Until the next video, make sure you be creative and stay grateful. Bye for now.